from the Hussman School of Journalism and Media at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
Football and men's basketball are both back home in Chapel Hill, playing in prime time this weekend.
And field hockey begins their pursuit for their 6th national championship in the past 7 years. Good morning and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Julia Thompson.
And I'm Hunter Caparelli. Thanks for joining us. But first, the Tar Heel football team kicks off against Wake Forest tomorrow at home, looking to extend a 2-game win streak. With just 1 win needed for bowl eligibility, Carolina will have to bring it against their ACC rival. The Heels' past 2 wins were largely thanks to powerhouse running back Omarion Hampton. Following up on his 5 touchdowns against Florida State will be crucial to push Carolina's win streak to 3. UNC's defense will have to watch out for Wake Forest running back Desmond Claiborne, who scored 2 touchdowns last week against Cal, one off a 44-yard pass. If the Heels can control the run game on both sides of the ball, they could be in for quite a showing this week.
The men's basketball team will host their 2nd home game of the season tonight against American. After the tight loss to Kansas last weekend, Carolina must build momentum as they continue their non-conference schedule. The Eagles come into the matchup with a 1-2 record, playing the 2nd of 6 straight away games. Tonight's game will be the first ever meeting between the two teams, and the Tar Heels need to rebound from last week's disappointment to start a winning streak before their trip to Hawaii for the Maui Invitational.
Tonight, UNC women's basketball will travel to Greensboro to face off against one of last season's Final Four finalists, the UConn Huskies. The Tar Heels have outscored each of their first 3 opponents by 19 points or more, but none of their competition as compared to the caliber of number 2 UConn. The biggest threat to the Heels' winning streak is senior guard Paige Buckets Beckers, who leads the Huskies in points and field goal percentage. It will be crucial for the Heels to lock her down. Number 1 freshman recruit Sarah Strong is another UConn weapon who is well-rounded on both ends of the court, averaging 15.5 points and 4 steals. Carolina is on a 6-game losing streak against UConn, but recent performances from Lexi Donarski and Renaya Kelly show the potential of a hungry Carolina team.
With a full slate of games this weekend, our betting expert Dylan Stalter is here along with some help from basketball analyst Spencer Haskell to break down the best picks for this weekend.
Julia, we've got a fun weekend of UNC athletics ahead. Last week, we went 3 for 3, and we've got 2 more picks for y'all to tell. Joining me on this Sports Extra Friday is the one and only Spencer Haskell.
Dylan, I'm not sure I can think of a better start to my weekend than talking some picks with you, so let's keep this hot streak going.
And let's get things started with the men's basketball game tonight, where we're going to be taking the over 148. Spencer, what sticks out about this UNC offense?
Dylan, I really like this pick. Carolina comes in averaging scoring 89.5 points a game. They followed through on Coach Davis's emphasis on playing fast. We're just 2 games into the season. The Heels are 4th in the conference in fast break points. Now, with that being said, the Heels have shown plenty of room for improvement in transition, both defending it and turning the ball over. Now, on the flip side, American comes in playing with the 2nd slowest pace in the country, but in their lone victory of the season, it's worth noting they scored 17 fast break points. And on top of that, the Heels are surrendering an average of 84 points a game this season. And to top it all off, Dylan, life is too short to bet the under, so I'm going to hammer the over 148.5 points.
You read my mind, Spencer. Who should we watch out for in this game tonight?
I'm looking for RJ Davis to have a big bounce-back game. After last weekend at Kansas, probably not his best performance, so I'm looking for him to step it up tonight. What else were you thinking?
To wrap things up, we're going to be headed to Kenan Stadium, where we're going to be taking Jacoby Criswell's over passing yards. UNC is taking on a Wake Forest team that has the 3rd worst passing defense in the nation. The Tar Heel quarterback has averaged 250 yards per game in his past 2 outings, and this offense will be looking to hit the Demon Deacons where it hurts. Good luck to everyone who's following, and as always,
please gamble responsibly.
All right, Hunter, we heard from Dylan and Spencer about their picks for the weekend. What are you thinking? What are you going to take?
Yeah, Julia, I love football covering the 11.5-point spread against Wake Forest tomorrow night. UNC has beat their past 2 opponents on the road by a combined 51 points. And with their first night game in over 2 months, expect to see a raucous Carolina home crowd propelling the team to a big victory.
Well, you clearly know a lot more about betting than I do. I actually did have $250 worth of free play during March Madness, and I lost it in one night. So I'm going to take your word for it.
Hey, you win some and you lose some. 37 of Carolina's 53 national championships have come from women's sports. Corey Davis highlights how one campus group is elevating the impact of women in the sports industry by hosting its first ever student-athlete panel on Wednesday.
Another thing is what I've learned is just also to forgive yourself.
Recently, Women in Sports Elevate, or WISE, held a mental health discussion panel event in Manning Hall featuring multiple student athletes. WISE wanted to spread awareness on the internal struggles of facing pressure when competing for a Power 5 Division I school like Carolina. The panel included UNC football wide receiver J.J. Jones, who was grateful to share his experiences with mental health.
Just being on the panel, just in general, I was blessed and grateful to be one of the student athletes that were on there, because mental health is really just a really big thing nowadays, and not a lot of people understand the things that student athletes go through.
Avery Bales, the club's sports psychology co-chair, helped her committee in their planning of the panel to be an impactful way to bring attention to how big of a role mental health plays in an athlete's daily life.
We're just so excited to bring this club about because it's so empowering, and I love doing events like this especially.
The panel also included Alyssa Utsby from the women's basketball team, who spoke on how mental health impacts the majority of her athletic performance.
And again, mental health is super important because it's about 70% of your performance, and that other 30% is typically your physical. And so mental health does matter.
I'm Corey Davis, reporting.
With new programs in the works, WISE continues to grow its influence, paving the way for women to step confidently into the sports world.
The early signing period for 2025 college basketball recruits is now open, with athletes putting pen to paper on their commitments. The Duke Blue Devils boast the nation's #1 class with 4 5-star commits, including the Boozer twins. UNC has officially signed guards Isaiah Dennis and Derek Dixon, while still in the running for #1 ranked recruit AJ DeBansa.
Carson Tangling has made history by returning to the NCAA championships for the 4th time in singles and doubles. Tangling is the first Tar Heel to accomplish this feat, and her road to history books wasn't a walk in the park. She solidified her positions at the singles championships by making the finals of the ITA East Sectional Championships before falling to South Carolina's Sarah Hamner. Carson will be joined by doubles partner Susanna Maltby and teammates Tatum Evans and Thea Rabin in Waco, Texas next week.
UNC volleyball is on the road this weekend, playing Notre Dame Friday and #3 Louisville Sunday. The Tar Heels are looking to turn things around after dropping out of the top 25 due to their 2 losses this past weekend. The real test will come against the Cardinals, who are ranked 3rd in the nation in blocks per set. Middle blocker Kara Cressy is at the helm of this dominant defense, ranked #5 in the country for blocks per set. North Carolina will need to be ready to answer the defensive attacks if they want to come out of this weekend with a win streak.
Let's now head over to Passes with Pryor to learn about what the Heels can do to get back to the top 25. Bethany?
Hunter, the Heels have yet another challenging weekend ahead. Carolina should breeze by Notre Dame, but Sunday will be a different story. Now, UNC has to look out for many aspects of Louisville's game, but the biggest threat is Elena Scott. Now, what makes Scott so good? First of all, she makes defense look easy. Defense as a whole is all about the angles. When you block, you want to make sure that your hands are turned into the court to force that ball inbounds, but when you're digging the ball, it's a lot more technical. You want to make sure you have about a 45-degree angle on that platform and face it towards the setter. And Elena Scott's angles are almost perfect all the time. Now, we're going to take a look at this play right here. They're playing against Miami, and Miami's right side is going to send a dagger down the line. But look at Elena Scott. That ball is easy. She turns her shoulder in towards the court. Her angle is perfect, and it's a beautiful set, which allows Louisville to get a kill from the right side. Now, second, she's everywhere. Elena Scott reads the ball like no other. They took #1 Pitt to 5 sets, and Scott's coverage played a huge role in this game. This play is going to be a very long play, but it's all thanks to Elena Scott. The ball's going to go to the outside, and Scott's going to get a shot that goes kind of cross court right in between the middle back and the outside, which is where she plays. Now, she's going to do what she needs to do. We call it weaving. The outside back is going to have to go in front of the middle back to make sure that she gets that ball that goes in between them. She follows through with her body, and the play keeps going. Now, the next play that Louisville makes is a very scrappy coverage play, which allows the ball to stay in motion, which is great. And Louisville is going to get yet another ball from the middle, and Elena Scott does the exact same thing. Weaves with her middle back and follows through with her body, runs through that ball with her hands, which makes a great play for Louisville, and they get another point, and the play keeps going. But UNC is going to have to be very strategic about where they place their hits. There are more players that the Heels will have to look out for. Louisville has two incredible outside hitters, but Charity Looper has been a standout. Standing at only 5'9", she is a very undersized outside, but her swing is powerful and her athleticism is insane. Now, Charity Looper is going to be hitting this next play out of a serve-receive pass, but let's look at this pass from Elena Scott. Beautiful, makes it look easy. Goes out to Charity, and we're going to pause right there. Look, her vertical is absolutely insane. She flies above the block, which is a 6-foot-plus block from Miami, flies past them, swings that ball with power, gets it down on Miami's side. There is a chance for the Heels to get past this top 3 team, but like I said, we will have to make smart attack and be on our toes in defense if we want to compete with the Cardinals.
So, Bethany, what else will the Heels have to prepare for going into the weekend?
Hunter, the Cardinals have some big blocks from the middle. Carolina will have to be prepared to be blocked this weekend, which means the defense will have to cover our hitters, and like I said earlier, we will have to have a smart offense. Our hitters will have to find the holes in Louisville's defense if we want a shot at winning on Sunday and making it back into the top 25.
I know fans are looking forward to this matchup. Let's hope the Heels can put up a fight against the Cardinals. Thanks, Bethany. And the wrestling team will be hitting the mat tonight against Nebraska here in Chapel Hill. The Tar Heels are coming off a 2-win weekend, one against Navy and the other a sweep against Drexel. To start the season, Nebraska was ranked number 4, but took the 3rd spot after winning their first and only match so far. The last time UNC beat Nebraska was back in the 2017-2018 season. UNC will be Nebraska's 2nd match of the evening as they're facing Campbell earlier this afternoon.
UNC cross country travels to South Carolina this weekend for the NCAA Southeast Regional Championships. After a strong 3rd place showing from both the men's and women's team in the ACC Championships in Cary, the Tar Heels look to keep their momentum going into the meet, with the women's team ranked at number 1 and the men's team ranked at number 2 in the region.
The Carolina women's soccer team returns to Dorrance Field tonight to face USC upstate in the first step towards the College Cup. After making their first conference championship appearance in 5 years, the team received a number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. Forward Kate Fossey, who scored twice in the ACC title game against Florida State, remains an offensive powerhouse. Currently among the top 10 goal scorers in the league with 16 goals, including 4 multi-goal performances this season, she's set to be a key factor in driving UNC's pursuit of the national trophy. Following her return from the U17 World Cup in the Dominican Republic, freshman defender Trinity Armstrong is a promising asset and confirmed that through her incredible header to defeat top-seeded Duke in the conference semifinals. The Tar Heels are more focused than ever as they set their sights on bringing a 23rd national championship back to Chapel Hill. And for the 4th time this season, Charlie Bruder is Offensive Player of the Week, this time awarded by the National Field Hockey Coaches Association. Bruder led the Tar Heels to their 27th conference championship with 26 goals in the season after bagging 2 goals in both the quarterfinals and semifinals, as well as scoring in the title win. Bruder was named the ACC Tournament MVP. The sophomore forward is ready to lead her team once more in the NCAA Tournament today.
The number 1 seed in women's field hockey is charging toward what would be a 3rd consecutive national championship. The Heels have already kicked off their opening round matchup against Delaware. Prior to the game, the Heels were awarded the top seed in the tournament for the 3rd year in a row, and the 6th time in the past 7 years. The team was unstoppable in the regular season. The Heels most recently came off a big win against Boston College in the ACC Championship, beating the Eagles 4-1. Goals were distributed by Carolina's big player powers, Charlie Bruder, Sienna Ricardo, Sana Hawk, and Riley Heck. The Heels' first NCAA tournament appearance is underway right now in Karen Shelton Stadium.
The Heels are facing the Delaware Blue Hens, who won their play-in game. And this just in, Carolina scored the scoring 6 minutes in. Katie Dixon got the goal off an assist from Riley Heck. Sienna Ricardo also got her second goal of the year 6 minutes later. Less than a minute after that, Lisa Slinker natted one, and halfway through the second quarter, the score is Carolina 3, Delaware 0.
Club sports at UNC certainly don't get all the luxuries that come with being a varsity team. But Sports Extra's Spencer Haskell shows how the UNC club hockey team is getting a glimpse to that varsity feeling.
My grandfather and 2 great uncles are on the Stanley Cup.
Pete Carson has been around hockey his entire life.
Walked into the tryout room for the University of Windsor, and the first guy I saw was like 6'4". I said, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this.
Once it came time to hang the skates up, Carson was looking for any way he could to stay around the rink.
And I wanted to still be able to participate and help out. And they offered me a position filling water bottles and folding some towels, so that's how I got into this.
With more than 30 years of experience in professional hockey, Carson has been the equipment manager for the UNC club hockey team for the past 3 seasons.
Basically just taking care of their gear in terms of keeping it fresh, laundered properly, make sure it's repaired, nobody's going out with faulty equipment and stuff, so being able to take care of some skates and doing some things like that.
Not having to take care of their own equipment is something that doesn't go unnoticed by the players.
We have school going on, exams to prepare for, practice to attend to, traveling to different games, and then Pete and Tyler take a lot of that pressure off of us to kind of get the smaller things, the annoying things figured out for us.
So why does he do it?
Just the camaraderie, being with the boys. That's what I missed in the few years that I took off. Just riding the bus, hearing the banter, the chirps, the laughs, all that kind of stuff is what makes it worthwhile.
I'm Spencer Haskell, reporting.
Carson also says he wants to be a part of the team's transition to the next level.
And we have our winner this week for Play of the Week. It's women's soccer defender Trinity Armstrong. The choice will seem obvious after you witness this beautiful header by Armstrong from a corner kick into the back of the net, which would turn out to be the game-winning goal for the Heels. And we'll be back on Monday with next week's contenders for Play of the Week. But before we go off air, we wouldn't be doing this show justice without acknowledging a certain anchor's birthday. From everyone at Sports Extra, we hope you have a super amazing, fantastic 22nd, Julia.
Thank you, Hunter. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else on my birthday, and that does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Make sure to tune in on Monday for a recap of another exciting weekend in Carolina athletics.